Very important hearing in the Supreme Court today on the demand for a stay as far as the SIR drive which is being conducted in Bihar is concerned. The top court today heard both the sides and gave some sort of a relief as far as the Election Commission is concerned. The top court refused to stay the entire drive, but this came with a sense of advice. The Supreme Court said, and some very important questions were in fact argued and raised during the hearing. Some of the best legal minds, including Kapil Sibal, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and the others were arguing from both the sides, and some very important points were in fact touched as far as this hearing is concerned, which is going to have a very important impact on the upcoming Bihar elections. Let me very quickly first tell you what all in fact happened in the court today. The result of which is that there is a big relief for the poll panel from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has refused to stay the voter list revision exercise which is going on in Bihar. The Supreme Court, though, has asked the Election Commission, a list of 11 documents is not exhaustive. The court has also batted for inclusion of Aadhaar, voter ID and ration card in this entire exercise. The Supreme Court upheld EC's right to hold the voters' survey. The court also, in fact, went on to ask and the timing as far as this entire survey is concerned. Why just before the elections of Bihar? And is this time, the 1 month time, enough for people to come back and appeal if they have been disenfranchised? Now, very quickly, let me also tell you why the Election Commission, and the Election Commission tried to present its point of view, why they have said no to Aadhaar, the card which was supposed to end all cards in the country. Aadhaar is not technically proof of citizenship. Very importantly, while this argument was being made, the court has also said that the Election Commission is actually not the agency for anybody to prove their citizenship. The foreign nationals can also be issued Aadhaar card. Aadhaar is only a proof of identity, says the Election Commission, and for the purpose of Aadhaar is for this purpose, the Aadhaar is unusable, not usable as far as this entire exercise is concerned. There have been some important reactions which have come in on this from both the opposition and the government. Listen in.
सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का शुक्रिया। हाहाकार मचा हुआ था पूरे बिहार में, जिंदगियां उथल पुथल में थी। एग्जैक्ट अगर मैं वर्ड कहूं माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का कि प्राइमा फेसी वी बिलीव दैट इलेक्शन कमीशन मस्ट कंसीडर, यानी कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि ये जो 3 दस्तावेज हैं, आधार कार्ड, ईपीआईसी वोटर आईडी कार्ड और राशन कार्ड को उन दस्तावेजों की श्रृंखला में शामिल करना चाहिए ताकि मैक्सिमम लोग इंक्लूड किए जा सके। मैं समझता हूं करोड़ों बिहारियों की जीत है। इस प्रक्रिया को पारदर्शी बने रहना चाहिए। अप्रोच ये होना चाहिए कि ये इंक्लूजन में तब्दील हो, एक्सक्लूजन में तब्दील ना हो।
विपक्ष को एक बार फिर से करारा झटका लगा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने स्पष्ट निर्देश दिया है कि बिहार में एसआईआर जारी रहेगा, विशेष पुनर्निरीक्षण जारी रहेगा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो भी निर्देश है उसका अक्षरतः पालन होगा। इलेक्शन कमीशन का भारतीय जनता पार्टी पूर्ण सहयोग करेगी। और अब तो हम ये सलाह देते हैं विपक्ष को कि अब रोना धोना छोड़े और इस पूरी प्रक्रिया में इलेक्शन कमीशन का साथ दे, क्योंकि अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी बिल्कुल स्पष्ट तौर पे कह दिया है कि ये प्रक्रिया जारी रहेगी।
Let's try and understand this first in the legal terms. What does this mean? Because there is another hearing on 28th of this month, which the court will be listening both sides on as far as this case is concerned. Professor Faizan Mustafa, Vice Chancellor, Chanakya National Law University, is joining us at this moment. He's a constitutional expert. So thank you for speaking to us. Let me very quickly begin by asking you, what do you make of what the Supreme Court has said today? It has, in fact, reinforced and said that it is a legal right of the Election Commission to indulge in this kind of exercise and has refused to stay, this entire drive which the Election Commission is conducting in Bihar.
Ankit, thank you very much for having me. As a student of constitutional law, I can't be taking the line which opposition or ruling party are taking, or even media channels are giving the kind of headlines. If you read the first line of the order, which is there on live law, it goes like this: the petitioners are not pressing for an interim stay at this stage. What you make out of this? That they were not seeking a stay. And therefore, to say that the court did not stay is a huge win for the election commission may not be entirely right.
Okay.
In fact, nobody in the country ever thought that the Supreme Court will say, well, election commission does not have the power to make the revision of this voters, because after all, it's a constitutional authority.
Right.
It exclusively has this power to do it. Now, what the court today said, that there are three big issues. One, whether election commission has power to do it, because the question is that under section 21 election commission can do this kind of spatial intensive revision for a constituency. It is a question in law. Many a times a constituency will also mean all constituencies. So maybe at the end of the judgment, the court says, well, they have a power to do it.
Okay.
Even though the petitioners are making out a case that you could have done it in XYZ constituency, but not in the entire state. To the Supreme Court, and this was the heart of this debate in the court, that process, is your process just, fair, reasonable, arbitrary? And if you look at the kind of questions which came from the bench,
Yes.
bench really had huge anxiety about the process, and then they also said about the timing.
Absolutely.
Now, thirdly, Ankit, the court was at loss to understand why you are looking at a question of citizenship, because that is not your power.
Yes.
Now, this you can say is a major setback to the election commission. That saying that you are basically looking at citizenship. Now, what was argued from the election commission? We are looking for identity. Then they considered, no, we are also looking at a citizenship. And then the Supreme Court said, well, if somebody is not a citizen and a complaint is made to you, you have a right to purge the voter list. You can remove anybody's name. But at the time of inclusion, you can't be looking at the citizenship question.
That's very important. I mean, you have underlined these three important points. Let me then ask you this before I let you go, sir. Do you now believe the onus, because the court also underlined it, that they also are of the opinion that, not a single voter should be left out of the process, should be disenfranchised. And the court had also, in fact, gone on to say they questioned the election commission on not only the timing, but also the duration, that if somebody is left out, will that person have enough time to appeal to the election commission, so on and so forth. Do you believe now the onus in the next hearing is on the election commission, A, to prove why Aadhaar, and other documents should not be used, and number two, what will they do to ensure that the fear about people being, moving out of the electoral process, of not being able to use their voting right, what does the election commission do on that?
Ankit, I would say a constitutional authority makes room for graceful exit for another constitutional authority. By clearly asking the election commission that you consider EPIC, this voter ID card and ration card and Aadhaar, I think the court is trying to persuade election commission. And I'm sure that the election commission will now sit, and they will most likely, in my opinion, at least the Aadhaar card and possibly, the voter ID card as well, and then go to the court that we considered your suggestion and we have implemented it. What the Supreme Court has also said, that we are fixing the date on 28th of July, which is before you publish your voter, draft voter list.
Yes.
So on 28th, they are going to have a full-fledged final hearing. Would believe that election commission has also said it in that 24th June order that they also don't intend to exclude any voter. So it was a difficult day for the election commission in the court, because on the process, on the timing, they had very difficult questions to answer from the bench. they have tried to say that it is an illustrative list of documents.
Okay.
But when you have a time frame that you have to complete it, can't be saying it is illustrative. So most likely the election commission may concede to the suggestion given by the Supreme Court, and if
Absolutely.
they include other documents, it will be a huge victory, and it
a
will be
big
good
relief
for the voter list.
and a big relief for the people of Bihar as well if that happens, because it will be a very, very important hearing on 28th, and we will have to wait and see what the election commission comes back with in front of the Supreme Court. So thank you at this moment for joining me on this broadcast. Ashwani Upadhyay is also with us, advocate, Supreme Court, one of the petitioners in favor of what the election commission is doing as far as this case is concerned. Ashwani जी, सबसे पहले मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा आज जो हुआ उसको आप किस तरीके से देखते हैं, क्योंकि अधिकतर लोग ये देख रहे हैं और ये पेटिशनर्स ने कहा भी कि आज हम कोई स्टे की बात करने नहीं आए थे, हम इंटरिम स्टे की बात नहीं कर रहे थे, तो क्या ये एक जीत के तौर पर देखेंगे, बूस्ट के तौर पर देखेंगे, किस तरीके से आप आज का फैसला देख रहे हैं?
नहीं अंकित जी, देखिए, जैसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट का अपना काम है वैसे इलेक्शन कमीशन का अपना काम है, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट और इलेक्शन कमीशन में कोई भी संस्था ऊपर नीचे नहीं है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से चलने वाले, एक आर्टिकल 124 से चलता है, 324 से चलता है, दोनों अपने अपने फील्ड के हैं। जैसे हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट के बारे में कहते हैं या सीजीआई के बारे में कहते हैं मास्टर ऑफ रोस्टर, वैसे ईसीआई जो है वो मास्टर ऑफ इलेक्शन है। ईसीआई की ड्यूटी है सुनिश्चित करना कि वो फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन करवाए। अब फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन का मतलब ये हुआ एक भी योग्य व्यक्ति न छूटे, लेकिन एक भी अयोग्य व्यक्ति न जुड़ जाए, एक भी एलिजिबल कैंडिडेट वोटिंग लिस्ट से बाहर ना हो, लेकिन एक भी इलीगल व्यक्ति, चाहे वो फॉरेनर है, घोस्ट है, फेक डॉक्यूमेंट है, कुछ भी किया है, उसका नाम नहीं जुड़ना चाहिए। 2003 में जब ये प्रक्रिया हुई थी बिहार में, उस समय इलेक्शन कमीशन ने केवल 3 डॉक्यूमेंट को कंसीडर किया था, चौथा डॉक्यूमेंट एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं किया था। इस बार की प्रक्रिया में 3 डॉक्यूमेंट को उन्होंने बढ़ा के 11 डॉक्यूमेंट कर दिया।
ओके
लेकिन टोटल जो आज पिटीशन फाइल हुई उसमें ज्यादातर लोगों का कहना है कि आप आधार
माफी
को
चाहूंगा,
consider
मुझे
करें।
आपको यहाँ रोकना पड़ रहा है।